Yes, people, why football here? And here comes my awaited video on my roundup of Arsenal's full 2021-2022 season. I thought long and hard about how I'm going to do this video. Was I going to do it in stages or what? But I was settled on a podcast type format. I'm just going to ramble basically about Arsenal's season. Leave your thoughts of the season in the comment section down below. And if you're new and if you enjoy Arsenal and football related content, this is the place to be. So please consider subscribing on my road to 700. In the summer, I will be dropping transfer related videos, transfer targets, transfer confirmations, and even roundups of news surrounding Arsenal. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with my overall arching feeling on the season, which is I'm disappointed but proud. I know that's kind of a PR answer, but it's true. I'm disappointed in the fact we did not secure top four, given we were so close. But I'm proud with the team and how much heart they gave in the season, because this is one of the first times that I can honestly say in my lifetime I've seen an Arsenal team that I honestly believe cared for that badge, and honestly I believe fully committed to getting into that top four. Because I know the back end of with Wenger, when players were just walking around the pitch, and even with Unai Emery, apart from that first season when we were tried, and even then there were some players that I didn't really think cared. And even the first couple of seasons with Arteta, we've been hit and miss. But this season right here, I saw a real connection of the squad. I saw players galvanise. I saw connection with the fans to the team. I saw the way fans were chanting the players, everyone walking over at the end of every match to clap the fans. I saw real connection with the club. And I saw a club moving forward. And it would have been so nice finishing that Champions League, because I honestly believe it would have been one of the best achievements of this football club in the past 5 years. Because squad alone, we don't deserve them to get into the Champions League. Let's be completely honest about it. I believe man for man, Man United have got a better squad. Tottenham definitely got killers up front, so they got a better squad. Chelsea got a better squad, Man City got a better squad, Liverpool got a better squad. So really and truly, we should be finishing about 6. Let's be completely honest, if it's squad for squad. We were overachieving. Yeah, we had no Europe, so you could say that was a benefit. And I think having Europa League, the Thursday-Sunday type split is going to hinder us next season. But for this season alone, man, I feel like the way the squad was competing every week, there were players that were playing... they were being thrown into the team when they hadn't played in a while, like Elneny, and still producing results. We had Saka, who I'm confident was actually carrying an injury for the back half of the season, still playing through it, still getting on the ball and running, doing whatever he can to propel this team towards that Champions League heights. And we were so close, and that's really nice for me to see. Now, I'm neither not Arteta in nor Arteta out, to be honest, because the way I see it, it's a two-step process. You A, sack the manager if you want to sack him, you don't think he's good enough. You B, have to replace him with someone better. And for me, out there in world football, I can't see someone that's gonna replace Arteta and then carry the process forward. Right now, I can't, for example. I mean, there's options on the market, like a Rafa Benitez, for example, but I just can't see that. For me, I'm fine. I'm content with Arteta for now. I'm seeing some nice things he's doing. I really love Arteta as a manager, as a man. I think the way he conducts himself, the way he talks in press conferences, the way I see him with players, and the fact that players all speak so highly of him. He managed to convince players to stay at the club. He's a very good manager. Now, his actual footballing tactics, they need brushing up on. I'm going to be completely honest. There's some games I honestly think he's got it wrong from start to finish. And the way he's handled some players, I'm not a fan of. Like, Tavares lost all confidence after that Nottingham Forest game. The second half of the season, he's been an absolute bust. He's been Andre Santos 2.0. When starting the season, he was Alphonso Davies 2.0. So yeah, that needs to tighten up. I do think also he needs to learn how to manage a big squad. Right now, I can see him only managing about 14 to 15 players. The first 11, there may be 2, 3, 4 subs. Like, Pepe got frozen out, completely out of the team. He doesn't even get a run in at all. Lacazette, I think, is falling out of favour a little bit with him. I can see them having a little rift. He can manage the first team perfectly, like the Sakas, the Smith Rowes, the Martinellis, etc., and the starting 11. And 1 or 2 subs like the Rob Holdings, Cedrics, etc. But when you get into like the edges of the squad, the ones where Pep Guardiola and Klopp can still get a performance out of Divock Origi when he hasn't played for 5 months, because he does it for the manager, does it for the team. I can't see him getting a tune out of someone like that. He can't get a tune out of Pepe when he comes on for 10 minutes. It's not Pepe's fault. Look, he's only playing bit part in the team because he's not good enough, in my opinion. But someone like a Klopp or Guardiola would propel them enough and fulfill them with enough confidence to still get something out of them, even if it is for a 5-10 minute stint. And Arteta, for me, can't do that. He's only managing a set select of players. It's either you're with him all the way or he freezes you out all the way, like he's done with the Guendouzi's, Pepe's, etc. And it's looking like that for Saliba, unfortunately. Although I hope Saliba comes back because he's a hell of a defender. Him and Gabriel next to each other will be absolutely unbelievable next season. But yeah, that's the way this is going to go. It's kind of just going off on tangents, a tangent on Arteta there. But yeah, going back to the actual main point, just missing out on Champions League football. So close, just run out of gas towards the end of it. And it wasn't lost on the Newcastle game. It wasn't lost on the Spurs game. For me, it was lost on the Brighton, Crystal Palace and Southampton games. Because all we need to do was win one of those matches and we're in the top four. Simple as. The problem with Arsenal Football Club this season is we didn't draw games. Perfect. Good. I like that. Drawing games is not efficient in football. The problem is we lost the game. Fine. You can lose one-off games. We're not Liverpool, Man City that are going to go blinding and almost go invincible. We're going to lose football matches. I can accept that. The problem is we lose a game and then our heads drop instantly and then we follow that up with another 2 defeats or 1 defeat. So we end up streaking losing games. We get, rather than getting 0 out of 3 points on a one-off game, we get 0 out of 9, which is not good enough. And that's what's happened on many occasions this season. Because every time we've had a defeat, I feel like we've followed it up or it's been followed by a defeat. Brentford, Chelsea, Man City to start the season. The Brighton, Crystal Palace, Southampton, even Spurs and Newcastle, Everton and Man United in the middle of the season. We're always losing and then following up with more defeats. We can't just have one-off losses at this football club, which is really disheartening to see because that is what cost us, man. We need some mentality monsters in this squad, and I think that comes from having experienced players. I mean, I reviewed the Real Madrid match against Liverpool when Real Madrid won the Champions League yesterday, and they've got experience in their squads. Real Madrid come back from defeats on 2 occasions in Champions League. I want to say they were behind to PSG and they were behind to Man City. I couldn't tell if they were actually behind to Chelsea in the leg or whether it was tied up. But either way, yeah, they come back from it. Why? Because they've got mentality monsters. They've got experienced players in the squad. Players that have seen it all. The Benzemas, the Modric's. Players like that. Kroos. They've been around it. Now, they've got some young talents in the squad. Vinicius Jr., unbelievable player. Rodrigo, Camavinga. Excellent young players. Ferland Mendy. But they're surrounding those young players with mentality monsters. Experienced players in the squad. And I believe we lack those experienced players. Partey went off injured, completely sold our midfield. We were relying on Xhaka, he was the only experienced head, and Elneny as well, but like he ain't really about that in my opinion. We had too many youngsters that weren't surrounded by enough experienced players, so I think that's what we need to do in the summer. We need to start addressing some of those experienced players in the squad, in my opinion. But yeah, we ran out of steam towards the end. We didn't quite have the mental edge to make it over that final hurdle and come back from those defeats, and it was due to the age of our squad, young manager. It is what it is, man. They're going to grow. We're growing together. We're growing as a fan base, growing as a club, growing as players. It's nice to see. Yeah, going into the standout performers of the season, for me, Bukayo Saka, unbelievable. I've always said it. I mean, I don't like comparing our own players, but there was a time in the season when people were saying, is Smith Rowe better? Is Saka better? And I was always saying, boys, trust in Bukayo Saka, man. He is our franchise player. He is the star boy at this club. Smith Rowe, for me, he tailed off. After he got his injury midway through the season, he started to tail off a little bit. He was on our top goal scorer for a while, but Saka took another step this season, man. I didn't think he could take a step from last season when he was unbelievable, and the season we just had, he was even better. His finishing's improved leaps and bounds because that previous season, he was getting great positions, but he just could not finish for his life. This season, I was seeing some top quality finishing from him. Against Brentford, what a goal that was, man. Norwich, he scored a couple of bangers as well. Bukayo Saka, even against Man City at home, big goal from Bukayo there. Come leaps and bounds. He is our star boy, in my opinion. I want to say shout out to Eddie Nketiah as well. Rarely played, to be honest, but came at the end of the season, asked to do a job, got a run in the side and played really well. It turns out we are looking to renew his contract and it's almost done. 5-year deal for 100k a week. My man got the bag. Fair play to him. But yeah, for me, he's not the starting striker for us. I think he's a good player. A very, very good player. But I'm not sure whether he's a starting striker for Arsenal Football Club. For me, we need to go out there and sign a starting striker. And a striker is one of those positions, I've said it a million times before. You can't scrimp on a striker. You can't just pay 10, 15 million on a striker. Striker is one of those positions where you pay the money and you get quality, man, because it proves it. Strikers can win or lose you games, that can win or lose you titles. I mean, look at Tottenham squad, yeah. I think player for player, we've got a good squad, better squad than Tottenham. It's just they've got those 2 killers, that Heung-min Son, who was joint top goal scorer without penalties, I'll add, and Harry Kane. And those 2 players are the reason Spurs got in top 4. Because without those 2 players, they're a 7th or 8th team in the league. Let's be completely honest about it. They've got killers up front, man. We needed that killer up front. If we had signed someone like Vlahovic in January, I know it maybe wasn't an option, but I'm saying hypothetically, I do believe we get top 4 because he is a killer. He hasn't been doing that well at Juventus, but he is a striker, out and out striker, man. So in the summer, that has to be number 1. Number 1 thing is sign a striker. For me, I'd sign 2. I'd sign Gabriel Jesus or Osimhen, for example. It's big money though, man. So we need our negotiation caps on. We need to be in the boardroom, doing some sweet talking in their ear and trying to get these players on less money as we can. Another thing, a good thing is, we got rid of Deadwood. We didn't replace it in January. Big mistake. We were looking at someone like Kulusevski, for example. Thought he would have been an outstanding player for us. At the time, I didn't really want him, but he's gone to Spurs. He's done amazing. Now, I said he would have been an outstanding player for us. I say that. Maybe he just fit into Conte's style more. Who knows, man? Because Conte likes that defensive counter-attacking players, those speed dribblers. And yeah, he's that type of player. So who knows? But he's done amazing for Tottenham. And look, fair play to Tottenham. They were the only club out of Arsenal, United and Spurs that did their business in January. And it rewarded them with top 4. So the gamble paid off for them. And it did not pay off for us. So us in the summer need to be addressing these positions. We got rid of players. Good. Now, the players that we're getting back, we need to sell. Bellerin, money for him. Torreira, we need money. We need money for these players. I think centre-back wise, we're sorted. We've got Gabriel, Saliba, Holding and Ben White. For me, our centre-back position is sorted. Unfortunately, it's about the only position in our squad that I think is sorted. We need a backup right-back because Tomiyasu, we cannot rely on him for 38 games. Tierney, we can't rely on for 38 games. Nuno Tavares, he's not quite at it, man. We need Aaron Hickey's been looked at. I wouldn't mind him. Another Scottish left back, that's good. Leno I can see going, so we need a backup keeper. Someone like Fraser Forster would have been perfect, but he's going to Tottenham. Although actually we've got a Matt Turner guy, so hopefully he can be alright as a backup keeper. Centre mid wise, another big portal call. Number 1 is striker for me, number 2 is centre mid. We need a starting centre mid, man. We've got Partey, can't rely on him for 38 games, but he's starting. For me, we need another one next to him. We need a Partey, Xhaka and one more good quality midfielder, so them 3 can just rotate. We've got more fixtures this season. We're going to have more players playing in their positions. We need to have more players so we can adapt tactics more. Because I feel like our tactics are too rigid. We can only play a 4-2-3-1. That's it. We've only got the players to play that formation. We can't play a Liverpool where they play 3 flat midfielders like a Thiago, Fabinho and Henderson. Like that. We can't play like a Partey, Xhaka and another hold like box-to-box midfielder like a Tielemans, for example. Because we haven't got the player for that. We play the same formation every time and teams will find you out if you play the same formation and teams will adapt to cope with that formation as Spurs did, as Newcastle did. So I think we need more players and more quality players so we've got more options to expand and adapt our formations on the fly. Look, it's one thing about quality is quality in different positions. A box like Tielemans will be absolutely perfect. Cam-wise, Odegaard and Emil Smith-Rowe, I'm happy with that. I don't think we need another Cam. Wingers, we need competition. Pepe out the door. I'm sorry, man. It's been a failed experiment for you. I wish you the very best. Not good enough for this football club. He has to get out of here. Serge Gnabry. The geezer wants to come to Arsenal Football Club. Put the money down and get him. Don't wait to get him on a free transfer next year. We need the brother right now. Because it's been said before, man. Like, look at Harry Kane. He was looking set to leave Tottenham. Man City came with the money. Wasn't quite enough. The owner was like to him, look, I know you want to leave. I'll let you leave next season. Now Harry Kane loves it at Spurs. So you never know, the same thing might happen to Gnabry. He might look set to leave, but then he stays for one more year, might love it in Munich, and then decide to stay longer. The opportunity's there. The ship does not set sail twice. While the opportunity's there, you strike while the pan is hot, while the fire's there, and you try and prize away Serge Gnabry, because that is that world-class player we are looking for at this squad. Saka one side, Gnabry other side. We've got Martinelli that can get some games in there. We need another right winger. Now, does that mean we bring back Reece Nelson after his loan spell? Potentially. I haven't really watched Feyenoord, so I can't comment on how well he's been. But he's not a bad footballer, so I wouldn't mind him there. Or we sell him, because we ain't got time to loan out these players all the time. We sell Nelson, get some P's for him, get 10 million if we can, 15. And we sign a backup right winger. We've got that geezer from Brazil, Marquinhos, whatever. Comps-wise, I watched it. Wasn't a big fan. But who knows, man. He might be another Martinelli. Either way, I don't think he's slotting into that first 11 unless he does something absolutely miraculous. So we do need a proper right winger there. And then striker-wise, I've already said it. Lacazette is going. Nketiah's re-signing. We still need 1 or 2 more, in my opinion. Osimhen or Gabriel Jesus. It has to be one of them two at least. And then another one for me. I think we need a plan B striker like Giroud was. I think Giroud would have been perfect, that type of striker. He doesn't have to be world-class. Just a plan B. Someone we can throw on with 10 minutes left. That can get his head on the ball. That can be a little bit different. Can disrupt the defence. So every team has it, man. Every quality team has that plan B striker, man. Divock Origi for Liverpool. He's not world-class. But when push comes to shove, you throw him on the pitch and he can do something, man. He's that physical player. Man City don't really have it, to be honest. They will have it with Haaland. He's unbelievable. But yeah, every team has that little player. I think he'll do really good. Someone of that ilk. That kind of like big muscly striker. I can't think of one off the top of my head. But we should be able to find one. But yeah, that's the main thing going into summer for me. Shopping list is a right back, left back, centre mid, striker and winger, and then depth in all positions, basically. That's how I see it. Let's get into the player ratings for this season. I'm going to do a roundup of all the players, the main ones that played, and what I rate them on a scale of 0 to 10. I've got the players right here on my iPad. Burn Leno. I'm going to give Leno, I'll give him a 6. I'll give him a 6. Look, he didn't really play, to be honest. But when he did play, he played in those first 3 games. I don't think any of the goals he conceded was really his fault. I'm be real, I think the defence was just so all over the place. Lots of players that didn't really deserve to start. So yeah, other than that, I think from next season, we need our defence and we need our signings sorted early because the season starts early next year because of the World Cup in December, November. So we're going to need to be started. We can't be going into the new season with Rob Holding at centre-back, for example. No, we need that starting defence in line. Your defence always comes first, man. They're the foundations. Defence and goalkeeper need to be set. So we need to sign our defenders early in the season, early in the transfer window, and then have those set before the game. You can then explore with strikers towards the end of the transfer window, but the defence has to be sorted because that's the rock of your team. But yeah, Leno 6. He came in for one game against Aston Villa and played well, and in the cup games, he was doing all right. Aaron Ramsdale, look, I'm going to give Ramsdale a 7.5/8. Came in and was on absolute fire for us. I didn't really like the signing at the time. I thought we overpaid tremendously for him, but fair play, he's done absolutely amazing. His kicking was great. His shot stopping was amazing. He fell off slightly towards the end of the season. He actually fell off around the time I actually started to rate him. Because all the time he was playing well, I was like, look, let's be relaxed, man. It might just be good form. And then I flicked the switch and I was like, you know what, yeah, he's actually a top quality keeper. And then literally the game after against Liverpool, he let a ball through his legs and it flapped through his hands. And I was like, oh my God, I literally just gave him credit. But yeah, Ramsdale, he's cooled off towards the end of the season. His kicking actually went really bad towards the end of the season. But overall, I think a good season for him. He definitely exceeded my expectations. Okonkwo didn't play, so I'm not going to rate him. Let's get into defenders. Kieran, Tierney. Ooh, it's a tough one to rate because when he's on the pitch, he's been amazing. He's been a rocking defence. And I don't think he was as good as last season, but he was still very good. The problem is the geezer cannot stay on the football pitch. I don't know, for his injury central, he went on international duty and came back injured. I don't know what it is, so it's hard to rate him. I'm gonna give him a 5. 5 or 6. Because he hasn't been on the pitch enough. If he was on the pitch, quality, but he hasn't been on the pitch enough. I feel for him because it's not his fault he's got injured. It's not his fault whatsoever, but he just hasn't been on the pitch enough for me to really impact this team and for me to think, wow, he's been a pivotal part. But yeah, no, I'll give him a 6 because the injury wasn't his fault. But yeah, I wish it was better. Ben White. Ooh, I'm going to give Ben White a 6.5/7. I think at times he's been good. I think at times he's been very good, in fact. At times he's been very shaky. He's adapting to a back 4 this season. I think he'll do much better next season. Because obviously at Brighton he played a back 3. Obviously he's not the tallest of centre-backs, but he's done alright in his aerial duels, to be fair. And I think Gabriel next to him has helped him because Gabriel's a more physical centre-back. I haven't seen enough of him leaving the ball, especially he did it a lot in the first half of the season. But in the second half of the season, I haven't seen him a lot get on the ball and actually start to move it. He's been a bit injured in and out of the team, though, to be fair. So I forgive him for that. Next season, with Saliba back, we've got the opportunity for a back 3 with Saliba, Ben White, Gabriel, or even Tomiyasu slotting as well. So that adds another dimension to our team, another formation we can adopt. But yeah, Ben White, for overall, decent first season. I still think going into next season, he has to be back up to Saliba. Just my opinion. Player next to him, Gabriel, for me, one of our players of the season. 5 goals from defence as well. I'm going to give Gabriel an 8 out of 10. We conceded a few more goals than I would have liked, to be fair, though. So I can't give him the high highs. But for me, he's been our best centre-back at the club, best defender at the club, in my opinion. Absolutely unbelievable. Candidate for captain of this football club for me. But yeah, Gabriel, unbelievable season from him. Rob Holding, I'm going to give a 5. Look, he slotted and did what he needed to, but he cost us in our biggest game of the season against Tottenham Hotspur. So for me, that brings him down points dramatically. Cedric Suarez, I'll give a 6 out of 10 to, because look, he came in, for me, he's not a starting right back. He's come in and played a starting role at times because Tomiyasu's injuries, and he's done his job, man. He's whipping in some balls. He's obviously not going to be game-changing. I think that penalty he gave away against Spurs was very soft, to be honest. So I'm not really going to blame him harshly for that. At times, he hasn't defended amazingly, but look, he's a squad player. And if there was one position that we need to address that we don't address in summer, I don't mind if we don't address right back. Like, out of all the positions, the left backs, the strikers, the centre mids, etc., the wingers, right back I'd love to address, but for me, it's not high on my priority. And that shows because of how okay of a backup Cedric Suarez has been. He hasn't been horrible. Tomiyasu next to him, another player that, to be honest, I'm gonna give Tomiyasu a 6.5/7. Same reason for Tierney. When he's played, he's been unbelievable and he's exceeded my expectations, especially for his first season in Europe, in the Premier League, in England. But he just hasn't managed to stay fit. He got an injury against Leeds, I believe, and it was like he was going to be out for 3 weeks. Fine, no problem. We can deal with Cedric Suarez for 3 weeks. Then that 3 weeks turned into a month. Then it turned into 2 months. Then he came back against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup. Got injured again. Then he got injured for another week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months. He just could not get back in the team for whatever reason. So yeah, that was a bit sad to see from Tomiyasu, because other than that, he's been a tremendous footballer. Nuno Tavares, next up on the list. We're talking about Jekyll and Hyde right here, man. Hot and cold, started the season on fire, en fuego. But then cooled off quickly towards the end of the season. I'm going to give Tavares a 5/10. To be fair, that's quite nice, actually. Could get a 4.5. That second half of the season, he could have cost us. He could have cost us badly. He was doing some erratic things. Picking up the ball and just hitting it like a sledgehammer miles over the stadium into another time zone. He was kicking the ball at times. At times, I can see his quality. At times, I can see a player that's raw, that's got ability. But at times, I'm thinking, how is he a footballer? He's not a winger. He's not a left back. He doesn't belong on the football pitch at times. It's harsh, but what you're seeing as an Arsenal fan, you've got to say, at times, you're looking at Tavares and going, how has he become a footballer? Technical ability-wise, he's really lacking at times. Like, he shoots funny. He dribbles funny. He gives away passes that are 5 yards away. But yeah, Tavares, strange season from him. Give me Andre Santos vibes if I've ever seen it. Let's move into the midfielders. Thomas Partey. One of our best players. I'm a big fan of Thomas Partey. I think when he's in the team, we look a much better side. And for me, he just wasn't on the pitch at the most crucial time. I'm going to give him a 6.5/7 because I think this second season in the Premier League, he's been unbelievable. He's done some really good things. That middle portion of the season, when we were playing Man City at home, I remember. I can't remember the other games, but there was a portion of that side where he was untouchable. He could have walked into any team in the Premier League at that moment. But then at that time, he came off injured against Crystal Palace, and you're thinking, why, man? We need the geese the back half of the season. I honestly think if we had Thomas Partey, we finish in that top four, and be completely honest. Elneny did a job, man. Elneny did a job. But I think with Partey, we would have beaten at least Brighton or Southampton. We would have beaten one of those teams. And if we had beaten one of those teams, we get into the top four. It's simple as. But yeah, Bukayo Saka next to him. Bukayo Saka, my candidate for player of the season. I'm giving him an 8.5/10. Just ran out of steam towards the end of the season. I think he was carrying a niggling injury. But the way he plays, I'm not surprised, man. Players fly into him. My favourite thing that Saka does, and you can't teach this, he gets the ball back to goal, defender push up on his back, and he does that little turn where he turns with the ball and slips around the player. It's so nice to watch, man. He does it every time, does it to every player, rolls players so well. He's not a big guy, Saka, but he uses his body so well, man. You can't teach stuff like that. He's an IQ-driven footballer, smart footballer. Football's played with your brain, not with your feet, man. I'm a big advocate for that, and he proves it. He does some really smart things on the football pitch. Excited to see his growth next season. Martin Odegaard, captain of Arsenal Football Club. Well, not my captain anyway. I'm going to give Odegaard a 6.5/10, man. I think at the start of the season, he was really good. Fell off towards the Christmas time. He had a shocker against Man United, I remember. And then he picked it up again towards the end of the season. But the thing for Odegaard for me is he goes missing in away games, man. The only away game I can really remember him turning up was against Watford, and they were relegated. Like, he goes missing in the big away games. Newcastle away went missing, man. Tottenham away, I know we're down to 10 men, but he went missing big time. Missing against Crystal Palace. Missing against Southampton. The big away games, even against West Ham, he was missing, to be honest. He just doesn't turn up for the big away games, man. And for a captain of this club, and this is why I don't think he's captain, you can't go missing like that, man. You have to be vocal. You have to be a leader. You have to be someone that gets on the ball. For me, centre-back, someone like Gabriel or Ramsdale. I would say Tierney, but he's injured. For me, I just love centre-backs that are defenders and goalkeepers that can see the whole pitch. Someone that's, I don't know whether it's a psychological thing, but I love like a big kind of like strong centre-back like that. I don't like technical players as centre-backs. I mean, as captains. Odegaard for me, yeah. He's a player that plays well on confidence. And the problem with him is he dictates our whole team. He dictates the whole way we play. When we have a good game, it's because Odegaard's had a good game. And that's a very struggling thing to be, man. That's why I don't want to give him captain, because he's got extra responsibility. For me, you give it to someone like Gabriel. Let Odegaard's responsibility to be to let the game tick, to let the team tick through him. Don't need to make him captain and that man. Don't give the geezer 2 responsibilities. Give him 1 responsibility. Tell Odegaard, you know what, brother, you don't need to be captain. We just need you to get on the pitch, get on the ball, and make stuff happen, man. Don't worry about giving like instructions to all the team. That's not your job. We'll give that to Gabriel or Ramsdale, whatever the keeper. I like that. Let him just get on the ball and pass it, spray it around. Let him do his magic. I think we gave him too much responsibility. That's another thing I don't agree with Arteta on. Other people, look, they love Odegaard as captain. Some of my friends say Odegaard's a captain, great idea. Just personally not for me. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on who you believe should be captain of Arsenal Football Club. For me, it's not Odegaard. But other than that, he's been good. Just gone a bit missing in away games for me. At the Emirates, he's absolutely amazing, man. He's magic. But yeah, needs to pick up his away performances. Emile Smith-Rowe. Another player that was really good in the first half of the season, then cooled off really quickly and kind of actually went cold towards the end of the season. I'm going to give Smith-Rowe a 6.5. No, I can't say that. I'll give him a 7 out of 10. He did score quite a few goals, to be fair. But yeah, there was a point in the season where he was being talked with Saka as amazing. Got into the England squad with Saka. But then just came off the boil a little bit. His fitness needs a brush up, man. He's gassing out too quickly in games. 60-65 minutes, he can't seem to compete anymore. But yeah, other than that, I'm expecting him to take another jump. This summer, I need these players to hit the gym. I need Odegaard and him to bench press. I need Smith-Rowe to do cardio as well. Can't have these problems next season, man. We took luxuries, we took liberties this season not having Europe. We got knocked out of the FA Cup in the 3rd round as well. We've literally played the least amount of games possible, if you really think about it. Apart from the Carabao Cup. Like, we've had luxuries this season. We've had a week off. We're not going to have that next season. We need the players to be at it from minute 1. Like, honestly, we're going to get exposed next season if we're not at it. If we're not at the pace, we're going to get exposed next season. So I need these players to hit the gym, hit cardio, be listening to Mikel Arteta and the training staff. And yeah, one thing I will give a shout out to, it's a bit random at this point in the video, is our set piece geezer. I don't know his name, but he's always celebrating when we get set pieces. Big up my man. I don't know your name, I'm sorry, but he's done wonders this season because apart from like the last few games, we hadn't conceded a goal from a set piece and we were scoring from set pieces. So he's done absolutely beautiful on the training pitch, on set pieces. So big up to him, yeah. Smith-Rowe swung a couple of those corners in, but yeah, big up to that guy. I don't know your name, but I wish I did. He's always clapping when we score a set piece. Need some more routines from him. Albert Sambila Conga. Ooh. I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. He kind of just hasn't really played, to be honest. And the thing is, right, I know people are going to say he's a young player. He is a young player. What, he's like 22, 23, 21, I want to say, actually. That's not that young anymore. Let's be honest. The way football's going, is 22, 23 really young? I wouldn't say he's old. I'd say he's just a borderline young. And I'd expect a player of his age, at that age, to be doing more. He looked really young. He looked 17 when he was on the pitch, rather than 21, 22, 23, which isn't a great thing to see. Captain of Anderlecht, apparently. Did not see that Arsenal Football Club. Look, maybe I'm being a bit harsh on him. It is his first season in the Premier League. I'm hoping for a step up next season. But yeah, Albert Sambila Conga didn't really do much. Was a bit part player. Mohamed Elneny, number 25 for Arsenal Football Club, recently re-signed his contract to stay for 1 more season. I'm happy for that. He's a good squad player. Doesn't really ask questions. Just does his job. And for me, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10 Elneny. Look, he's come in to do a job at the back end of the season, and he did that job, man. He kept the ship moving forward. And he ran out of steam in a couple of games, and a couple of games he weren't quite at it. But for the most part, I can't think of a single thing Elneny directly did wrong. And he's had some good performances in midfield. And the last one, Granit Xhaka. Xhaka I'm going to give a 7 to as well. I think overall he hasn't been bad this season. He's taken on a different role. He wasn't captain at all this season. And he's starting to mature, I think. It's taken him a while, but I do think he's starting to mature into the role he is. He's been given a different role this season. He was more advanced. He was playing definitely further forward on the pitch, with Partey sitting back. I saw him playing almost like an attacking 8 at times, Xhaka, and I don't mind that position for him, to be fair. He was getting in advanced areas. He scored his patented long shot against Manchester United. But yeah, Xhaka overall for me, decent player. I'll keep him around the squad. I do like him overall, Xhaka. I think he gets some unnecessary hate. He's a Marmite footballer. Some players swear by him. And some fans swear by him, and some fans like, you need to get him out at all costs. He's horrible. For me, I kind of sit in the middle. Like, I'm more swayed towards him. I do think he's not as bad as people think. He gives me Henderson type vibes, where he's not going to be your best player, but you miss him when he's not in the squad. He gives me those kind of vibes. So yeah, not bad from Xhaka. Let's move on to the forwards now. Alexandre Lacazette. Ooh, I'm gonna give Lacazette a 5. Captain at some periods, kept it moving. It was his last season for the club. He still gave it his all for the badge. He just lacked a lot of quality this season. A lot of quality was lacking from him. He's lost his legs. He's completely lost his legs. I don't think he should stay in the Premier League, to be honest. I think he needs to get out of here as quick as possible because he just hasn't got the legs to keep up with it, to be honest. Nicolas Pepe, for me, I'm going to give him a 4 out of 10. And even that's been nice because the geezer barely touched the pitch. Not really his fault. Well, it kind of is his fault because he wasn't good enough. But the times he did touch the pitch, he wasn't good enough at all by any means. He needs to get out. I think he is going to leave. He changed his agent. And I think his time at Arsenal Football Club is coming to an end. Really bad, to be honest. 72 million, I would have expected more. We've probably got about 11 million, 12 million pounds worth of his 72 million price tag. Not good whatsoever. Bad season from Nicolas Pepe. Eddie Nketiah, I'm going to give a 7.5 to. Geezer came in at the end of the season after playing a bit part role the whole season. And he did his job, man. He did his job big time. I can't say anything against Eddie Nketiah in a bad way. The geezer did what he needs to do for the football club. And he got the job done, man. So big up Eddie Nketiah. I think, well, he is going to stay. I don't know what they promised him for him to stay. I don't know whether he just saw the money and was like, yeah, calm, I'll stay for 100k. But I don't think he should start for us next season. So I don't know why he's staying in that sense. Because I thought he would only stay if he's assured first team football. I'm not sure if they're telling him, look, you won't start Premier League for now, but you're definitely starting Europa League games 100%. And if you're good enough, we'll let you compete for that top, for the number 1 spot in the Premier League. Maybe that's what we're telling him. Who knows? But yeah, definitely a player. We've got more fixtures next season, so it was a good job for me signing him back up. He's come leaps and bounds the second half of the season. And Gabriel Martinelli, my other star boy, love the kid to bits. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. He's been good as well, man. Next to Bukayo Saka, I think he wasn't playing at all. And there was times when I even thought he would actually go on loan in January because he just was not touching the field. But since he came on against Newcastle, Leeds, different type of player, man. Came back from his injury, was an absolute stalwart in the team, could not keep him out. Just electric, eccentric, burst of energy. He's that one player in the team that runs at people along with Saka, and I love players that run at other players. For me, when you pass the ball left to right, you pass the ball, it doesn't really do much, man. Like, defenders are set in stone. You pass the ball, they just shift left, they shift right. When you actually run at someone, you're forcing a decision from the defender. Do they commit? Do they back off? It forces something. It changes the complexion of the game. So players that run with the ball, the Martinellis and Sakas, my favourite players to watch, and they create something in the team. And Martinelli, there's been some times in season where he's been fearless. I think his ceiling is one of the highest in our squads. For me, could even be bigger than Saka, his ceiling. Because I see, like, finishing, assassin-type finishing. That goal against West Ham was unbelievable when he side-footed it past the keeper. I've seen electric bursts of pace, hunting down the ball relentlessly. I'm looking for another big step up from Martinelli next season. And last one I'm going to rate is Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who I'm going to give it a 3 to. 3? Yeah, he just wasn't good enough this season. The times he did play wasn't great. We got rid of him. Do I think that was a mistake? I don't want to say it was because he wasn't doing enough on the pitch. But I think it was a mistake not to replace him. Getting rid of him, who knows, man. In hindsight, we should have replaced him because who knows, having Aubameyang in the team as an option, even if it was to come off the bench, I think he's just that player, man. He is. If you can get him on goal scoring form, there's no doubt he can finish the ball. It's what he does, man. He's a marksman, gets the ball into the back of the net. And he wasn't doing it for us at times, but away from that, he's still an amazing footballer. I still think we could have got something out of him. And that brings me back to the original point I made about Arteta and how he can only manage a limited number of the squad. He can't manage the whole big 25, 26 man squad. He can only deal with about 14, 15 at a time. And he completely throws Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang out. But yeah, that goes my player ratings for the season. Mikel Arteta, the manager, I'm going to end with. I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10. Arteta. He didn't quite make top 4, even though we were in it. And without Europe, I really think we should have made it. But 2 things I'll give him credit for. He's created a connection between the fans and the club. Like, the fans sing his name a lot. And secondly, I actually enjoyed watching Arsenal this season. And it's not a lot of times I've said that in recent years. I enjoyed watching Arsenal football matches this season. At the end of the day, that could... Look, it's a bit of like a defeatist attitude to say. But you could say that's more important than winning trophies. Because you watch football for entertainment. And if you don't enjoy watching your football club, then why are you really watching football? You're watching it just for the sake of it. But for this season, I actually really enjoyed watching Arsenal Football Club. I remember that game when we beat Watford 3-2 and we scored some amazing goals. Like, we looked a nice team. We looked an enjoyable team to watch. We had some nice players in there. Connection with the fans and the players. It was an enjoyable season to watch. A rollercoaster season, ups and downs, but overall it was enjoyable. As always, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe down below. This has been my full recap of the Arsenal season, a long 35-minute podcast. Bloody hell, that was long. But yeah, just rambled about Arsenal for a while now. Of course, during the summer I will be bringing transfer related talk, so stay tuned for that. As always, this has been my last video of the season. It's been a rollercoaster ride from start to finish. I'll be back, of course, next season to review Arsenal games and Premier League games, Champions League games, Europa League games, now we're in that as well, and just all the cup games in general, as well as the World Cup. I can't wait for that in November, December. But don't worry, the summer content will roll through. Gonna have a little break going on holiday, but then we're back with some transfer related talk. Hopefully also get some business done in the summer, and I hope to see you guys soon. I've been Wi-Fi, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.